You are watching Midnight Movie Talk live from Los Angeles. Eric Weber here tonight, and we're ready to go with an always thrilling Thursday night. When we get a brand new film in the marketplace like we have tonight, a film that I am 100% all in on, then I'm excited because theatrical is king. Nothing will ever replace the movie-going experience. And tonight we start with a shot that I just had moments ago at the AMC Burbank 16. This is at the Dolby House. Now, if you're coming to LA and you want to experience the single best theater in all of the city, and not just the single best theater, but the single best, actual room in that theater, it's Dolby Burbank. Unbelievable. Look at the crowd there tonight. Virtually a sellout here, 6:45 show. I was sitting right down in the row here. Look at this guy crashed out of the bottom. I love it. Those chairs are so comfy. Yes, we love AMC. We will shill for AMC as long as we can. Let's get to my reaction, which was from weeks ago. And it's the exact same reaction I have here tonight, having watched the film again. And it's very simply this: one of the greatest action movies ever made. I mean, John Wick 4 tops all three of the predecessors, right? It's not a comparison in storytelling, certainly in scope, and in stakes. And those set pieces, I mean, there's so many, and they're all just flat out astonishing. And the real, now that you've had the chance to see the film, tell me when you watch this that you're not sitting there going, how are all of these contained within one film? That is how incredulous you are to this as you watch the film. And I did again here to the second time tonight. Bill Skarsgård, I'm telling you, some of you might have an issue with the accent that he goes with, but what he brings to the table is a menace. And you need that out of your villain, out of your Bond villain, as it were, your John Wick villain here. This would be a performance that would be very strong for Bond, and we get it within John Wick. And there's so many just outstanding elements of this film, but it's just a thrilling. Is it a finish to the franchise? Sounds like it could be. I mean, really, where do you go from here? We're going to get into reactions right now because I want to get your thoughts on this film. Where do we go if we even want to do a John Wick 5? Because here's the situation Lionsgate's going to have itself in. They're going to get a film that's going to open to a huge number this weekend. Now, here's the number that I am going to put up there, and you guys can comment away whether you think this is too high. Could you actually think it's too low? I doubt you will when you see what I'm about ready to unveil. Now, before I unveil the projector, what this is every Thursday here on Midnight Movie Talk, we put the number that we expect for the film to make the following weekend, over the next, tonight, tomorrow, and of course the weekend. Now, the first weekend we did the projector, we nailed Scream 44, and it came in at 44. We nailed it, okay? Last week, Shazam 2, we put it 28.5. It opens to 30. We're right there. So tonight, the number for John Wick 4, we are all in. We are bullish. We are taking this thing at $82.5 million, which would be the franchise record with ease. Now, when you look at the box office performance of this franchise, you are looking at a situation where it has doubled every single time that it's come out, from John Wick 1 to John Wick 2 to 3 and now to 4. Now, I don't expect it to be quite a double because that would be over $100 million here when you look at that. But look, here are the numbers for John Wick. Number 1 opened at 14. Number 2, 30. So that's plus 50+%. Number 3, 56.8, virtually a double. So 82.5 tonight for this film is within striking range because it's going to have a hellaciously high cinema score, People were hooting and hollering. They were totally into this thing when I was watching it tonight. I got to see the film weeks ago. There was like 10 of us there. Now, I knew that we had a very, very formidable film on our hands when you're sitting through it. But when you're, flanked by a couple of other reviewers and Alan Ing and Jeff Ewing, we all loved it. But you need to see how the average moviegoer is going to react. And then you get it tonight. This thing is going to go and play like gangbusters throughout the weekend. 82.5 million. And what will make this number even more just in your face to last week's absolutely tank job by Shazam is if this thing gets to 82.5 as an R-rated movie and Shazam barely got to 30 as this quote family-friendly teacher commits suicide by jumping off the school while possessed, family-friendly movie, then that'll even make it look that much worse for Shazam 2. Your thoughts here on John Wick 4 opening fire tonight. You finally got to see the film. Tell me that you loved it, because I know you did. What could you possibly have as an issue with this film? Even the runtime, where normally I'm the guy who's like, it's too long. We need to cut here and there. This film manages to propel forward throughout. And if you're going to have a movie at 2 hours and 45 minutes, you have to be able to not lose that momentum. At least give you a slight break, and then we roll into the next action set piece. And this film is really well directed. Listen, when you've done 3 of these before and you get to 4, you figure out what works and what doesn't. We talked about it here on this stream, the MMT stream that's been going on for a year now. As you go back, look at the videos from the beginning until now. Now, no one's suggesting that now's great. But as we've grown, we have figured out the format and what works, what doesn't, added things, subtracted things, and figured out a way to make this thing work. And when you work on a film and you've done 3 prior installments, you get to 4, you know what you're doing. And I think that Stileski absolutely has figured out how to make a really great John Wick 4 film, one of the best action films of all time. Now, as we get into the comments here, we're going to pull them up momentarily. I still think, as I really have sat on this over the last few weeks after watching John Wick 4, and looking at, the film again here tonight, I still prefer, for my number 1 action film of all time, you just aren't going to beat The Raid 2. The Raid 2 is the best action film of all time. And that is, for me, it really is just a matter of separation. When you look at John Wick 4 versus Raid 2, you're looking for me at what Gareth Evans does as a director is just a little more artistically dialed in, just slightly. Again, I think that Stileski's done a better job as the franchise has worn on. He's gotten more and more comfortable in his role. But what Evans does with the Raid, and particularly the Raid 2, is just next level. And I just don't think it'll be ever beaten as far as the number 1 action film of all time. Welcome to the channel here tonight, Alex. Good to see you. If Brendan Fraser can get an Oscar for a fat suit, then Scott Adkins deserves one for this. Fraser didn't have to do a spin kick in the fat suit. He just sat around and ate 3 Musketeers and masturbated. That is what he had to do. He had to whack off and eat 3 Musketeers. This dude had to fully go into fight mode in that extended nightclub fight scene that goes on forever and ever, right? That is acting. And I always talk about, right, when we talk about the performance of actor A versus actor B, which of the 2 roles was harder? And clearly, this is a harder role than what Brendan Fraser had to do, would initially just mope around until the very end where he's like, I have faith in humanity. Whatever the hell the line is. That movie's terrible. I don't even want to talk about it. But yes, Alex, let's throw him in the name for the supporting actor candidates of 2023. Alex, I just saw two Alexes back to back. Just saw John Wick earlier. Had forgotten that their suits have been dipped in the blank man bulletproof solution, right? That is kind of funny, right? It's like as a bullet's fired, they go boom, they pull the suit up, bam. Like, listen, come on, guys. We know that you have to just go with it, and that is one of the things you must go with for John Wick 4. The fact that they have the bulletproof suits on. Pray for me, all. My SAT scores come out tomorrow. I'll be driving factor whether I get to see the movie. Sotvik, prayers up, buddy. I hope you get to see it. I'm sure that your SAT scores are strong. Okay, we are going to send you, the MMT community, sending you love and strength right now. Make it happen. I'm feeling like Bart Simpson in that one episode where everyone wanted to see that one movie but didn't. It is the worst, that FOMO, when you finally get a chance to see a movie that's this great and you have to wait a day or two, because we are movie fanatics. We are cinephiles. We are moviegoers. We love cinema. And when you do, you want to be first in line, especially when the film is, again, this good. Now, when you're talking about a film like, Dungeons and Dragons, that eventually I'm going to get around to, probably opening night, I'm just not that excited, even though I know that the reviews are strong for the film. The excitement level for Dungeons and Dragons is not nearly as high. The anticipation level for John Wick 4 is through the roof, and that's why we have this number of 82.5, because it has built perfectly for Lionsgate. I want to take a moment and give them props. We bash Lionsgate so often because they really don't have a lot of compelling stuff. They had Hunger Games, and they have John Wick, and when you look at John Wick, I mean, opens at 14, ends up at 50, I think. What was the worldwide total on John Wick? So John Wick 1, the worldwide total on John Wick 1 was 86 million. That's a big profit. But when you look at Lionsgate, listen, let's just say Lionsgate's made a lot of mistakes over the years. Maybe they said, let's not make another John Wick. Thank God they did, because this franchise has only upped itself every single time. The problem for me here tonight, and this is where I want you guys to come in, if we do decide to do John Wick 5, which is going to be very hard for Lionsgate to say no to, where do we go based on the ending of this film? Based on just kind of the finish. Remember, we talked about how often we talk about Endgame and why you can't bring Tony Stark back because of that finish. It would taint the perfect finish for the completion of phase 1 of the MCU, and once you do that, you just ruin it all. So you just can't do that. And I think when we look at Endgame as a film, you don't want to ruin that. And tonight with John Wick 4, I don't want to have it happen. I want to have this be the end. And tell me if you agree with me. I keep going back and forth with my favorite action. Arc de Triomphe is a goat. Had me in awe, but Berlin Club is sonically just flat out insane. Listen, you go back and you look at Bruce Lee movies. I mean, Enter the Dragon, Exit the Dragon, all the Bruce Lee movies. They're very strong action films, but then we're talking about things like this, we're next level. But I beg you again, if you have not recently, go back and watch The Raid 2. First, you got to start with 1 if you haven't seen 1. So that's your homework. Watch 1 if you haven't watched 1. But, I mean, if you're here, you've watched 1. There's no question. You had to have watched Raid 1. And if you haven't seen Raid 2, how many times I bring that film up here on this channel, you need to see it as well. But this is not quite there. It's not quite in that level, John Wick 4. But that's the top. That's the top of the top, right? That's the Mount Everest. We're at the peak. And everything is just a step below that. And that's damn fine. There's no problem with that. When you're at that level, when you're pinging the top, as we like to put it. The Dolby Room's amazing. It's just unbelievable. Die Hard's a great action film, John. I'm not going to argue with that. But The Raid 2 is just, I mean, you got to be kidding me. It's a must-see in Dolby. The sound design's amazing. Mulchi, tonight, when I got to see it in Dolby, the sound was markedly stronger than what I saw in Century City. We saw it on a regular screen, and it was fine. It was a big enough screen. Sound was solid. But in Dolby, this film you're living inside of it. That's the beauty of Dolby, is that it takes you, because you're already in the theater, so you're in the film, you're immersed. And we're going to take it next level by surrounding you 360 in speakers. And then they give you the recliner. And I'm telling you, there's no better screen in LA than Dolby Burbank. Not Dolby Century City, not any of the other AMCs. It is Burbank because the size of that theater rivals IMAX. In fact, it might be the same size. It is enormous. So you're getting the big IMAX screen and you're getting the Dolby speakers. It is the best screen in LA, no question about it. I walked up the steps. It's a lot of pain. A lot of pain to walk up those stairs at the end of the movie. How good is that, by the way? How great is that? I thought you were talking about for a minute about the AMC Burbank steps. Yeah, we should do that. I should make a goof video of fighting up the Burbank stairs. Although there's no way in hell I'm falling down the stairs like that dude did in the escalator. Did you guys see that? Hold on, let me find it. It's trending now. John Wick is obviously trending because everyone's talking about this film, as they should be here tonight, because that is, the number one thing. And here's the other reason that this film's going to do well. It is cutting through the clutter of March Madness. Tonight you had Gonzaga, UCLA, Florida Atlantic moving on. You had, Final Fours getting closer and closer, and you still have people talking about this movie. Last weekend, nobody was talking about Shazam 2. This film has cut through the clutter. Okay, let's find, hold on, give me a second. I'm going to find that. If you haven't seen the movie, check out what this stuntman does going down the escalator. It happens in the Osaka scene, and here he comes flying down. Give me a second. It's here. I know, there it is. Okay, let's pop it up. So here's the escalator. Here, hold on, I got the wrong tab. Give me a second. There it is. Okay, watch. Here he goes. So this dude gets launched down the escalator. As, by the way, that actress kicks ass. The one with the bow and arrow. What's her name? Hold on, let me find out. I didn't look that up last time. She's unbelievably just tough as nails. Amy Kwan. Okay, she's, or is it Rena? No, it's Rena Sayama. Let's see, Sawayama. Yeah, she is. Here she is. Let's pull her up real quick. She is absolutely like someone you could build a franchise around. So, as we talk about your opinions and your thoughts on this film, where do you go next? I would say Rena would be a really good move, even though I know they're going to do Ballerina with, they're talking about doing that. They're already starting shooting Ballerina with, what's her name, Ana de Armas. But I think Rena, you could run a whole franchise with Rena. You could do like a raid kind of thing. Saw it in IMAX, David. And you thought it was fun. Really doesn't hold a candle to Die Hard or Terminator 2. David, I don't know, man. Listen, I get love for Die Hard. But I think that what is accomplished here with the multitude of those set pieces, with the Osaka scene, the nightclub scene, Arc de Triomphe, I think that's how you say it, up the stairs at the end, that is unreal, right? All of those on their own are special. And then you combine them in one film. I think that's where you get this complete overload of action that is special. It's a special film. We said 50 for Creed, but opens to 58. No, listen, John Wick is going to be more than Creed. John Wick is, here's why this film is going to pop. Okay, it's going to do more than 70. Okay, so 70 plus. I'm putting 82.5. I'm going crazy bullish on this. I'm not going to, obviously, that. But as you look at Creed versus John Wick, Creed had a really strong build. You could feel that it was going to outperform. But you look at those numbers, and you knew that about 50 was where it should be as you go escalate up on Creed 1, 2, and 3. You look at the box office. When you look at John Wick, again, we're doubling essentially every single outing. There is a limit to that because this is an R-rated film. There is a limit. But look, is there? Because you look at Deadpool, over 100 million as an R-rated, granted, an MCU film tangentially at the time of 20th Century Fox. But either way, it is comic book. I understand that. But John Wick has almost turned into a comic book movie, right? It's a franchise. People know the character. It's an action-filled. Obviously, you've seen John Wick 4. You're certainly aware of that film. And it very much fits the realm of a comic book movie. And because of that, we can take our number and shove it high like 82.5 million because it is working within the parameters of a CBM. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen this weekend. It's going to be a huge number. John Wick 4 does not outperform, as I like to say. I'm sorry, I never say overperform. Outperform LCR, but stays in line with the already great projections. It'll be a victory. Remember, it'll make more money in opening weekend than Mission 1 Fallout. 75 to 80. A lot of people have this at about 72, 73, 74. I'm taking 82.5. I'm pushing it over. And again, we've been right too. We're batting 1,000. So let's roll again. Let's roll the dice again. If we're off, it's not going to be by much. This is going to be a huge, huge hit. Let's go next. Alex, again, I realize I'm going to be in the extreme small majority, but I feel like people are overselling the film. It's good. I just know people like it. It wasn't amazing to me. Yes and no. Okay. I understand if you maybe don't feel quite the same way that a lot of us do about this film, but I do think that you're going to be in the minority by quite a bit. You know, one of the most popular, most successful streams here on MMT was Scream 6 Sucks, because we had so many people coming out of Scream 6 saying this is a great film, this is fun. And then I was like, no, this film is terrible, like out and out terrible across the board. And people like that stream because they're like, no, they felt that way. I don't think you're going to find as many people, Alex, as I did with Scream 6 Sucking. If you were maybe underwhelmed by the film, that's your certainly subjective. We'll take that. And sometimes, of course, I'll ride the hell out of you for liking Babylon or The Whale or what was another, how many other movies, but those two in particular, for sure. Halloween Ends. Oh my God. Scream 6. But this is a film you're not going to find a lot of company. People are generally going to really, really like this film. I'm going to see it Saturday. Yes, Solomon, you're going to love it. John Wick 4 domestic debut. Kevin, you're really good. You'd like these numbers, but I'm telling you, you're under. It's 60 to 70. You're under this. I understand that most people won't agree with me. It's fine, Alex. That's good. That's good. You're allowed to do. Listen, you're allowed to come in here and say that was your honest opinion with it. Just like I'm going to come on here and destroy Scream 6 or Babylon or The Whale, because these are my experiences with the film. Right? That's the whole thing I did with Film Courage, talking about having that conviction to say what you feel your experience with the film is, and not being, deterred by anybody, including me. Even though I'm telling you you're wrong, Alex, but you're allowed to have that. I appreciate it. It takes guts, and good on you, man. Fletcher says it's a great movie. He loved it, right? I mean, it is really, really strong. I mean, that's my takeaway from this film. The gun battle in the end in the house will compare it to the whole scene in Netflix Daredevil. Oh my God, right? I completely forgot about. So here's the thing. I left just a little bit before the movie was over tonight because I already saw it once. I forgot all about the fire gun, right? That whole scene going above and shooting it like a video game. Crazy. I mean, there's so many things in this film. Unless you just sat through it, you forget how much is packed in to John Wick 4. I can't wait to see it again in IMAX. This will have repeat viewing value. I just sat through the first 3 quarters of it tonight again. I'll probably watch the last quarter at some point. I'll walk in after watching something else over at AMC Burbank. Get the A-list. If you don't have it, get it. It's worth it. It is $25 a month to watch 3 movies a week. Next week, I already have 3 movies booked. One, that 1001, whatever the heck it is the Focus movie. It looks really good. I can't wait to see it. Then they're having an Air investor screening, and then I'll finally get around to Dungeons and Dragons, and we'll talk about that next Thursday. I'm just not in that big of a rush to see Dungeons and Dragons. I know some of you have seen this, it's fun, but what am I going to get out of that movie that's going to make me go, oh my God? At least John Wick 4, even though we've seen plenty of films that are just like John Wick 4, right? An action shooter game, video game insanity. But here's the thing. I still found myself glued into the product. I was absolutely dialed into it. So I don't think I'm going to feel that way about Dungeons and Dragons. If anyone's seen it, tell me. But I just don't. I know I'm going to be like, it's okay. It's fine. It's not great. I just know that. Amazing film. My second favorite after John Wick 2, but absolutely brilliant. A great end of the series. Driz Sensei, it is the end. It needs to be the end. Because you're going to tarnish the legacy by continuing. And that is going to be the challenge for Lionsgate going forward here. When they look at the numbers that come in this weekend, if it gets to 82.5 and it opens up worldwide at 150, listen, they're going to have a really hard time saying we're not doing John Wick 5. And of course, Keanu and his agents are going to say, well, we'd like to make one because now you're going to pay us double what you paid us last time because we're making you money. Plus, we're going to take back end, right? They get a cut of the profit. He might be at that point right now because he's done, this 4th one. So if that's the case, then he'll want to do it. But artistically, right, you don't want to tarnish the legacy of the film. That's the challenge. How do you push the franchise forward? And I recommended using Rena, right, from the Osaka scene, whatever her name in the film is. She's fantastic. Push her, take her. Now, granted, you're not going to open at 80 million for the next one, but you're still going to have people that like John Wick that are part of the franchise that'll go see a spin-off, right? And that's what I would probably roll with. Runtime flew by, didn't it? 100%. I mean, that's the thing is when you watch a film, and Solomon's is perfect time for this question. What's the problem with long films? The problem with long films is that the majority of times they don't warrant the runtime. They should be shorter. They should be 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes shorter. The perfect example of this is our best picture of 2022, right over my shoulder, Everything Everywhere, a film that would benefit immensely, immeasurably by having 20 plus minutes chopped off the end, get rid of all the repetition, wrap it up tighter. It's a better film. Then I could actually discuss it as being one of the best films of 2022. But because of that runtime, the length of the runtime, 225, I believe, is the runtime on that. If you bring it at 145, it's a better film. So it's not always about runtime. Example of a film that is long as hell but works extremely well. Everything in it works is The Wolf of Wall Street. 3 hours long, but yet Scorsese keeps things moving and has the best performance of Leo DiCaprio to lean on. And you have that combination, and really well written, obviously, as well. That's a perfect 3-hour film. You don't feel it. That's the key. When you feel it. I just saw that movie Inside. And it's a movie that is, once you watch William Dafoe sit inside of this house and with his artwork and try to figure out how to get out of his prison, his metaphorical prison, it's too long for what it is. It does not need to be 145. It needs to be 125. It depends on the film. It depends on how well you pace it. And it's not just about this singular runtime. You could watch a movie that's 140 that's too long, right? Or you could watch a movie that's 3 hours that works in Wolf of Wall Street. John Wick 4 is astonishing. The set pieces are insane. Arc to Triumph sequence is incredible. I'd like to know how much of that is CGI. There is definitely CGI there. We know that, right? If one scene has the majority of the CGI in the film, it is that scene. But that said, it's another incredibly creative action set piece that is pinging the top of the meter, just like the rest of them do, that you are just flat out exhausted by the end because you have been taken in all these different, they're not the same kind of scene, right? The Osaka scene is totally different from the stairs scene, and the Arc de Triomphe scene is different from the nightclub scene. They're all just variations, and so you don't feel like you're watching the same thing over and over, which you go back and you watch John Wick 1, you see that, right? It's the same kind of thing over and over and over. This one, you give the credit to the expansion of the world, the scope enlarging, and the fact that the film just works better as the things just keep changing. The set pieces are both amazing and astonishing in that they are different from one another. They are not the same thing over and over and over. I think it was a little too long. Action sequence was a little repetitive. The one scene drew me back was the third act overhead scene. Yeah, it's great. I mean, as soon as you start to find yourself, maybe pulling out of John Wick 4, you go, no, here we go. All right, more comments coming up on John Wick 4, but I do want to get to some other things here tonight. But I do want to say one of the big stories this weekend, other than John Wick 4 outperforming, we have it at 82.5 million, which is going to be, if it does hit that number, you talk about theatrical on fire. It is on fire, except for Shazam. Now, Shazam 2, we talked about it Sunday. Go back and watch the stream. There were a multitude of reasons why this film cratered. Okay, why did it only make 30 million? And why is it not done shit this week? This week has been terrible for this film. That means this weekend is going to be really abysmal. John Wick 4 is going to stick the boots to this thing. It's going to be on the ground getting pummeled. Shazam's over. It's dead. It's done. I do want to touch on this as we talk about Shazam. Those people that are like, hey, the reason that Shazam, oh my God, like Grace Randolph, the reason Shazam 2 failed is because Zach Levi spoke out against Pfizer. As soon as you hear her say that, you need to turn off Grace Randolph forever, because that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard someone utter. Nobody said, I'm not going to see Shazam because Zach Levi chastised Pfizer. Nobody. Grace, that's the stupidest take I've ever heard in my entire life. And not only is it stupid, it's also the easy take. It's like, let's show some virtue signaling here. The reason the movie bombed is because he made fun of Pfizer, and Pfizer's all glorious company. Give me a break, Grace. That's a shitty take. It's a shitty take. The reason Shazam 2 bombed, nobody wanted it. It's that simple. We already talked about it. And it's going to absolutely come apart this weekend even more so. The reason the film bombed is because Warner Brothers said, let's make it. It's that simple. It's not because The Rock said, Zach Levi, you can't be in my Black Adam end credit scene. That had nothing to do with it. So don't blame The Rock. Frankly, I think The Rock's in the right spot. I wouldn't want Shazam in my end credit scene either. They're like, hey, Rock, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you and Henry Cavill, and we'll also have Shazam. He's like, excuse me? We're not putting Shazam in my end credit scene. That's how that would go. I'd say the same damn thing as The Rock. Don't blame The Rock for Shazam failing. Blame Warner Brothers for making that shit movie. What a waste. What a waste of a film that film was. All right. I also want to mention this. This is really big. How has Apple figured out theatrical today? They have gone on record as saying they are going to spend, is it $2 billion? Is that the number? Okay, sorry, my bad. It's only $1 billion. Here it is from Hollywood Reporter. Cinema stocks jump amid report Apple plans $1 billion theatrical movie push. Netflix is still sitting there going, we don't know what the hell we're going to do. We're just a streaming company, but you got to take us seriously when it comes to awards because we are going to still be an Oscar studio. No, you're not, because you're not even involved in theatrical. Apple's here saying we're going to put $1 billion into our theatrical unit. By the way, Apple, why did you not just give me a call and at least let me be some kind of consultant for you? Come on. I mean, I know how to push theatrical stuff. Let's go, Apple. Phone number. I'll put it on the screen. Here's the thing. $1 billion, because they have Killers of the Flower Moon. They have Napoleon, 2 huge movies this year. They're going to be massive players. In fact, Leo DiCaprio is on record. I believe he just said that it's a masterpiece. Killers of the Flower Moon, Scorsese, the adaptation of the huge novel. Here's the thing: is that this is what we need to see more of. Apple saying we are all in on theatrical. That means Amazon, they're in too. They're into for 12 to 15 movies a year. They've got Air coming out here in a couple weeks. That's the Michael Jordan, acquisition story. Ben Affleck directed. They have that. And now you still have Netflix going, well, we don't really quite know what we want to do here. We're just going to be a streaming company. I told you guys before, give me a like right now for this. You do not allow Netflix to have another Oscar going forward if they do not have a major theatrical push attached to every single film that they are hopeful that wins Oscar. That includes a massive AMC, Regal, Cinemark. Not these little independent theaters. We love you guys, but we're talking about a wide theatrical thing. Otherwise, you are not eligible for Oscars. Apple's all in. Why is Netflix not? That is another big story here tonight. I want to do one more thing before we get into more comments. Let's do a sales check. I skipped through this. I apologize. This is one of the big things we do here. We like to look at the sales of a movie on a Thursday night. Let's pull up John Wick 4 and let's get the right tab. Here it is. This is AMC. Let's go to something that's starting soon. Let's go to the 1030 Dolby. It says almost full, so we know what we're going to see when we open this thing up. Wow. Look at that. Okay, remember this, though. We talked about this last week. The first 2 rows are virtually sold out. Now, when the theater's empty, that doesn't make any sense. But here, look at this. This thing is 85. You guys, we might be heading for like a $10 million Thursday night here. We might be looking at what hold on. What was let me see what John Wick 4 was. John Wick 3 Thursday. Let me check that. I think it was like 6 million. Give me a second. Where was the third? 5.9. Okay, so John Wick 3 made 5.9 million. With these sales that I'm seeing tonight, we are over that number for sure. Okay, and remember this: that the Thursday night number is typically a 10 multiple. So you look at John Wick 3, make that was 5.9. It opened up at 54 ish, right, somewhere in there, mid 50. Okay. So that's a 10 multiple. So if we get to 8 million or higher, that is 80 million this weekend. Not guaranteed, but I'm just telling you guys that and if it happens, you heard it here first. I said 80 plus million. No one else is saying this. That would make us 3 for 3 on the projector. Okay, let's go to another screening tonight. We go from Dolby Burbank. Let's go to Universal, and then we'll go over the hill. This is all in Los Angeles. These are all major theaters. Let's look at the IMAX. This is late. That's a pretty good crowd for an 11:30 screening. That's over 50% full. That's a huge screen, by the way. The IMAX over there is massive. The IMAX at Universal is, I think it's the biggest theater in LA. It is. There's got to be like 600 seats in that thing. It's insane. Okay, let's roll to, not to the Grove. We'll skip the Grove tonight. Let's go to Century City. And let's do the 11 o'clock IMAX. That looks really good. It looks good. Guys, we're going to go at least 8 million tonight. We're going to go 8. If we go 8 million, we're looking at an $80 million weekend. So here it comes. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for another outperform? Are you ready for another MMT nailing of the number? One more time, 82.5. 82.5 is our number tonight. Amen, Erick. Re-Netflix ineligibility is a must. Malcolm, welcome to the channel. 4 Oscars for All Quiet was ridiculous for a non-theatrical. Again, they're going to say, we had a small theatrical attached to it with some theaters here and there. That's not enough. You need to put that thing like Universal did with 1917. They're both World War I films. Why is 1917 in 3,000 plus screens and All Quiet's on 10? Netflix, unless you start to play the game like everybody else, you're out. You are no longer eligible for Oscars. There's no debate. Get it fixed, or you're no longer considered a movie studio. You're a streamer. Apple is committed to become a theatrical entity. So has Amazon. So you do not get to, Netflix, say, no, we're not interested. You got to be interested, or you're no longer eligible for Oscars. That's it. Give me a like. That was perfect. I'm going to cut it out tomorrow and send it out. Netflix is going to send a hitman my way. Who cares? Bring it, Netflix. I am the John Wick of movie reviewers. Good luck to you, bitch. I would definitely have liked to see All Quiet on the big screen. A few of us got to. I mean, Gore went to see it down the street. Listen, I'm at the point now where Netflix is like, we're never having you come again. And here's the deal. I don't give two shits about ever being invited to another Netflix. The reason that this channel and what I do is successful and you guys have helped build and we're going to continue to keep going is fearlessness. I don't care if Netflix ever invites me to another event, because at the end of the day, we are going to say what's on our minds, and what's on our minds is theatrical is king. And Netflix, if you're not going to do it, you are no longer a studio that we are going to take seriously. We cannot see you the same as Paramount, Warner Brothers, Amazon, Apple, Universal. You are playing by your own little game over there in the corner. Enjoy it, streamer. Enjoy your little game. We're not doing it anymore. The John Wick of movie evaluators. Thank you, Wasim. Always ahead of the curve. The truth is, and Wasim, you've been here a long time. For those of you who have been here on MMT, we are typically way ahead of everybody else. Not for like leaks and stuff like that. No. We're talking about business. We're talking about quality of films. I frankly don't have that much interest in the whole leaks thing, right? These people are like, oh my God, such and such. I'd rather talk about the film. I don't want to even talk about trailers. I mean, I can mention something about, comment about the trailer, but I don't want to do trailer reactions. This is an industry show. This is a film show. We don't talk about streaming shows. We do movies. That is it. And what we talk about, you guys are the smartest group out there. I know it. I'm 100% certain. I talked to someone tonight at our movie Twitter meetup, and they said, your viewers are some of the smartest people out there, because you have to be to come in here. This is not Grace Randolph. This is not John Campea. This is smarter stuff. We're talking about industry things. We're talking about big picture ideas, not Grace Randolph talking about who's going to be cast as Spider-Man's best friend in the next film. Good God. Like, that doesn't even interest me. I'll watch it when it's out. I wanted to do one more. Hold on. What was it? What the hell was it? Keep hitting the comments. There was one more I want to mention. This tonight's shirt is Club America. I figured I'd wear the rattlesnake adorned kit tonight because John Wick, stick with me here, is a rattlesnake of sort. You don't want to provoke John Wick. And if you provoke John Wick, he's going to F you up. And that's what I say to Netflix tonight. Don't provoke me. They're like, oh, that guy. We're done with that dude. Thank you. Very Mayan. Yeah, right? Very much. All right. Comments away. Anything you want to talk about? Let's do it here. Let's open it up. One last thing, because I do want to touch on this, that we need to talk about Superman. So, in case you missed the news, I believe that broke yesterday, maybe the day before. James Gunn was talking about the casting of Superman. And one of the things that I think is very important when you look at Superman is you have to physically fit the role. You cannot have somebody who's 5'8" playing Superman. You need to have somebody who's 6'1". That's my limit. I'd say right now I need to have 6'1", anyone. That's the cutoff. If you're under that, you're out. Also, apparently someone said it's all in the 20s. They're looking. James Gunn's like, no, well, it's not just 20s, because you can have someone who's in the early 30s. Robert Pattinson's in his early 30s. He's Batman. It's working out for him. You need to have somebody you can make, 10 years. That's 3 movies at least, right? You can get 3 movies out of a 30-year-old before they come 40 and too old. So I don't want. Why are you pop-up ads? So I get for going to Screen Rant. But you gotta fit the role physically. And then someone said, well, you can have lifts. No, you don't. You don't want exactly cell phone. Exactly. I do not want a Namor with Superman. You guys know I'm right. Namor was miscast. Namor was not big enough. He wasn't shredded enough. He wasn't menacing enough. That's the truth. Seems like a nice guy, but not the right guy. You were not cast well. We need to make sure that Superman is 6'1 plus, jacked, maybe not too big. Someone sent me a picture of some guy today on Twitter, and it was some guy who was like a bodybuilder. Personally, I think you want to look, as we talk physique critique all the time, you want to look like Henry Cavill, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds. These are big cut guys, but they're not bodybuilders. Bodybuilder, at my gym, you guys know I go to a popular gym here in LA with lots of celebrities. There's a dude who comes into my gym, and this is what you get from MT. Totally random, like off topic, but yet still on topic. He comes into the gym, and he actually has, his body is so big and his head is too small for his overinflated body that he looks ridiculous. You need to have proportions and aesthetics. This guy looks goofy because his head is small and his body looks like someone pumped him up with an air pump. We don't want Superman to be too big. The Rock is right on that level, right? He's almost too big. He's gigantic, and you can't take him seriously as anything other than the superhero. As Superman, he can work, but I still want to see my guys be jacked, but not balloonish. Does that make sense? Is that good? Jacked, but Namor wasn't Greek enough. Is that what he's supposed to be? Is he Greek? I don't even know. I don't even care about ethnicity. I care about the fact that, dude, it wasn't like he was out of shape. He just wasn't as cut as I would prefer. When you're going to walk around in a pair of Speedos for the entire movie, you better be cut. You better be jacked. You better look like Wolverine, not like a deflated version of Wolverine. We can't have that, dude. Namor, if he's going to make another one, and I think they are going to put him in another one, then you need to go to the gym more than me. And I go 5 days a week, dude, so good luck catching up. You got to go 5 days a week. He looks like Spock. He did. Namor didn't work. Wakanda Forever didn't work. That movie's boring. What a boring movie Wakanda Forever is, right, guys? Give me a thumbs up for that. It's so dull. I mean, you wonder why comic book boredom started with Wakanda Forever. You guys are going to say Thor. No way. Thor's fun. Screw all y'all. So is Ant-Man. Wakanda Forever. What a drag that film is. I love Ryan Coogler. I've told you guys, how many times have I said I adore the man who gave us both Creed and Fruitvale Station, but not Wakanda Forever. It was like a wake. I mean, I didn't want to sit through that movie. Was such a boring long. Talk about a film that's too long and dull. Boring. Cell phone is boring. Boring movie. I don't care if it's better received. You know why. First of all, cell phone. You know why Black Panther 2 was better received. Don't come in here and play disingenuous with me. You know damn well why. By the way, my delts are bigger than Namor's. That's a problem. That shouldn't happen. Huge Jackman. He's great. He looks amazing. Let's see. Superman. Hold on, where was Superman? Superman should be cut and full of hope. Fletcher. That would be in the breakdown for the actor. You must be cut and brimming with hope. If you have neither of these two things, you can leave. If I was the casting director for Superman, listen, you're coming in to be Superman. I'd say take your shirt off. Shirt off? No. Like American Idol. Nope. You need to hit the gym longer. Please leave. I'm here to read. No, you're not. You're not cutting off. You're out. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry you came all the way across Los Angeles from Hollywood to Santa Monica to audition, but you're not big enough. Go back to the gym. On your way home, hit the gym. That's what I would totally, because you gotta be big. You can't look like deflated. I didn't know if this guy could pull off the part. Noah Centineo. Don't get me started, C.D. Stein, about that Noah Centineo guy. That guy, I don't understand. I told you when I watch him, the aw shucks thing with him, and he's in, obviously we know, Black Adam. I don't see the appeal of Noah Centineo. Centineo, whatever you say his name. I don't see it. He fit, yes, size-wise. He's not jacked. The guy does not have a good body. Noah Centineo does not have any kind of body that is like a Superman body. No way. He doesn't look like, Jabba the Hutt, but he also doesn't look, like we need. He's not, no. And he's dull. Noah Centineo I guarantee you, I told you this before about this guy. That guy comes from a family of money. There's some connection to that guy because when I see him, I do not see it. You know how you see a star and you see them getting pushed and all these things? You're like, how did that person become a star? And then you look and their family's super loaded. Great. Now, listen, I do think she's a good actress, but you can't tell me that when your grandfather owns not one, but two, the father owned and the grandfather owned the Rooney Mara. When your parent and or grandparent, whatever the relation is, I know that's in the family, owns an NFL team, you don't think that they can make a phone call to someone in Hollywood? Hey there, I've got this young actress. Her dad owns the Giants. Do you have a moment to audition her? That's how this town works. You guys know it. You could have someone who's amazing at something. If they don't have the connections, they're never getting it. My man crush is Ryan Coogler. David, I met Ryan Coogler for a very brief moment at the Black Panther Awards party back in 18, right? Or 19, 18. And I talked to him for a moment, and Rachel Morrison and Ludwig was there. And that's the night I actually talked to Kathleen Kennedy about Boba Fett movie. And she looked at me. I told you that story, right? I was at the party. If you missed this is a great story. Gore said he saw this happen. And this is when I met Chris Gore. So at the party, we're there for Black Panther, and Kathleen Kennedy's there. There's like 40 of us there. I'm like, that's Kathleen Kennedy, for God's sake. You don't get a chance to talk to her very much. So she starts to leave, and I followed her down the hallway at the bar. I go, Kathleen, I'm excited about this Boba Fett movie. Are we going to make this thing? Like, what's the latest on that? And she looked at me and she's like, I thought we made this clear. We're not making the Boba Fett movie. We're focused on the Mandalorian. And back then I'm like, what the hell's the Mandalorian? I'm not the biggest. I go, oh, okay. It's apparently a show that's sort of Boba Fett-y, right? But she told me they weren't making the movie. And then I tweeted about it, and the next day it was in Deadline, THR, Variety. Everyone had the story. Boba Fett movie is not happening. Why? Because I asked Kathleen Kennedy as she's leaving the party, and she looked at me and goes, we're not making that movie. Didn't we tell you that? I'm like, no, you didn't tell us that. That's how we do it. That's how we roll. We walk up fearlessly to the head of Star Wars and we say, what about this? If I run into, I don't care who it is, whether it's Damien Chazelle, if I see Damien Chazelle one day, I hope that he knows that I hate Babylon. I'll go up and say, Damien, you know that movie didn't work. Like, let's just be honest with each other. You know that movie's shit. You know you wanted to do something with it. It didn't work. Just admit it. And he's like, okay. He wouldn't, but I would totally say that to him. She pepper sprayed me. No, she did not. That would actually be funny. See, the good news about these small parties that are out here in LA, when you get invited to these things, they know that you've been vetted. So they don't have to worry about like some crazy weirdo. Although some would argue that I am that, but at least I was vetted as the crazy weirdo. So as I go, they're not going to like go, security, get that guy, security. Super chats, Omega Swiper. You go into super chat and you just say, hey, you put in your amount of money you want to pay, up to, $1 million. I'll take it. And you just ask your question, and then I'll pop it straight up. That's how it works. It should be there as a button. Can someone else help him out there with super chats? But no one was pepper sprayed in this. 10 minutes. We're going 1 hour tonight. That's it. 1 hour. Whatever you want to go into, let's go. We'll defend Thor 4. That movie's funny. Thank you, cell phone, and ridiculous. Thank you. Plus a good romantic. Thank you. Okay, we don't agree about it. Thank you for someone finally came to my defense about Thor 4 for all of the reasons. It has good comedy. It's got the romantic comedy thing. It's got the stakes of her dying. It's got the goofiness of the kids all getting the power and holding up their teddy bear. I know you didn't like, but it's weird. I like weird funny. I don't like stupid funny. I like weird funny. And the movie's works. That's Taika Waititi's, zone. Go back and look at Jojo Rabbit. It's a offbeat dark comedy, right? And that is what he excels at. I think I definitely want to see him behind the scenes more than in front. I feel like Taika, I think he wants to be in, what's the next thing he wants to be? Help me out. He just said he wanted to be in the next film he does. Is it Star Wars? He wants to be in the movie. It's like, dude, just why don't you focus on the direction? Like, there's only so many people that can direct and act at the same time. I mean, Ben Affleck. But look, Ben Affleck's making air. I'm going to see it Wednesday. Wednesday, I'll see it. And I'll look at it and I'll say, yeah, guess what? Ben Affleck's in the movie, but he's not in the movie the entire time. He's not the lead. Matt Damon is. Affleck's directing. When you're directing, it's hard to be the lead, right? A few directors have done that. No one's going to argue that it hasn't happened, Clint Eastwood, right? It's happened over the years. And look at who's another actor, Clooney, directed and was in the film. I actually like it. It's an interesting film. If you haven't seen, there's so much of the film I like, but I don't love the overall film. But it's one of those weird films where the parts are greater than the whole. And it's Ides of March. If you guys even remember that movie, George Clooney, Ryan Gosling. And you had them on the campaign trail. Clooney plays a senator. Ryan Gosling's working on his campaign team. You've also got Giamatti's in that movie. The movie goes to hell, Ides of March, once we get the whole abortion thing, right? Where Clooney's involved. That whole thing didn't work. The movie, from a political aspect, I love it. If you haven't seen Ides of March, check it out. It's a cool film. It's like one of those movies. Thank you. David has figured it out. And not only that, but it's in pounds. We're in pounds tonight, baby. That's how we were. Favorite, this is a good question for the end of the stream. Favorite gym sighting of a Hollywood person? It would be Taron Egerton. A few weeks ago, I'm there. He's working out. He's not the tallest guy. He's shorter than me, but he's stocky. He's thick. Like he was busting his ass too. He was doing pull-ups into push-ups, That's a push-pull workout. That's a very hard. That's not easy. I tend to do chest, back, legs, break, shoulders, arms. That's how my workouts go. His was chest, back, the same day. That's a lot of work. He'd be number one. Jodie Foster's there all the time. I haven't seen her lately. She must be shooting a movie. What's his name from Game of Thrones has been there. Nicholas Vanderjouw. Is that how you say his name? He's there. Who was there the other day? There's some TikTokers and random people. Someday someone will get, that's the random guy from MMT. No, I don't think that'll ever happen. But God bless, we don't care because we are the Riddler show in the Batman, and we will forever be that, and we'll forever be happy with that. We don't ever want to be like Grace Randolph. I certainly, God, that would be like the worst Freaky Friday ever. Switch lives with Grace Randolph. No, save me. Taron Egerton was in great shape in Blackbird. I didn't see it, Michael, but I've heard that he is he's great in that. I need to watch it. 5 minutes. 5-minute warning. Favorite overall Hollywood sighting? Alex, you're putting the ball on the tee and you're asking me to take it. I'm not going to say Elizabeth Olsen. My favorite celebrity moment of all time, it's not even here. It was in an airport, and you guys are going to be like, this is what makes me strange. You're going to think I'm going to say some big Hollywood star. My favorite moment ever coming across a celebrity that I absolutely cherish and I basically worship, certainly musically. I'm in the Atlanta airport. I'm running between terminals, and there is Bruce Hornsby. And I go, oh my God. I was like, if you've ever been to Atlanta, you got the 6 different terms. Oh my God, that fucking airport. But there he is. I'm like, that's Bruce Hornsby. He's tall. I went up and I said, Bruce, I was all nervous. I was like, this was like 10 years ago. I was super nervous. And I was like, Bruce, I just want you to know, I love the way it is. And which was like the worst thing to say because it's like, no shit. Everyone knows the way it is. But that's my favorite celebrity, Bruce Hornsby. No, it's not weird. It's not weird at all. I'm not calling you guys serial killers. I'm just saying at the end, it's like our small little thing. It's our small, which is perfect. I love the fact that we have this small little community that is not Grace Randolph. Are you thinking Tom Cruise will win Oscar for his space film? We'll see. I mean, it's so far ahead, Omega Swiper. At this point, Tom Cruise didn't even show up to the Oscars. If he gets nominated, will he come? I don't know. I mean, I feel like Tom Cruise doesn't care. And why should he? He has everything he needs. He loves movies. He loves theatrical. Why does he care if he has an Oscar? And I think once you're at that point, it's kind of strange. I know this is going to sound weird, but you get to a point where you do something for so long, and I've been doing the movie thing here for, over a decade, that you just do it. You don't really think about, I tell you guys now, I don't even like going to parties that often. Every time I go to a party now, I think about like, how far is it from my house? How long do I have to stay? And I actually would rather hang out with the people that I'm friends with, like a Gore, Jeff Ewing, Scott Menzel, friends that are good friends that I see out and about at those parties. I don't really care about the celebrities. So it's like, I don't know, Tom Cruise probably feels the same way. He's like, I've done this shit. Bruce Hornsby, the world's greatest dad. Is that, yeah. Wait, is he in a movie? Wait, what is the world's greatest dad? Do I even know what the hell that is? Super Chat Dead Paid. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's good. Appreciate it. Any more comments here? We got less than 5 here on this Thursday night. We're back on Sunday. I do want to say that as we close every show, I'm going to give you homework. Okay. So the other night, your homework was, someone help me in the comments. I'm not going to say it. Someone who was watching the other night, please tell me what was the homework for the last Sunday night. What was the homework for Sunday? You have one homework assignment to watch one movie. Someone in the comments come and tell me. Yes, thank you, Alex. It's exactly what it was. It was Glengarry Glen Ross. Bonus point for you. Sticker for you. But here's your homework for tonight. You talk about comedies that I adore. Comedies that I revisit. Films that make me feel good. Comfort films. Real Genius. Coolidge directed this film back in 1985. It's got Val Kilmer doing, I say, Ryan Reynolds. Now, go back and watch Val Kilmer in Real Genius and in Top Secret, and you tell me that Val Kilmer is not who Ryan Reynolds patterned his persona off of. He absolutely watched Val Kilmer in the day when he was the smartass, and no film is better than Real Genius for that. Set at Caltech, and the college students and this goofy kid who I don't think ever acted again. He was like in one other movie. He was the young guy in this. What the hell's his name? I'm forgetting the name of the main character. He's got a goof name. If you've not watched Real Genius, you need to make that your homework tonight. It is one of the most underrated 80s films and a great comedy, a college comedy, a feel-good film that has its heart in the right place. There's nothing objectionable about it. It's just a movie you're going to love. So that's your homework tonight, to watch Real Genius. I love Real Genius and Top Secret. Eric, you earned respect. Thank you. Yeah, both of those are great. Top Secret is hilarious. Zucker. It's Airplane, but no one talks about Top Secret. Top Secret is flat out riotous, and then you have this film, which is just a really smart comedy, and it's a college film, and it's, people talk about Animal House, they talk about Revenge of the Nerds. No one talks about Real Genius enough. I know the people that love it, but the people that Laszlo, who at the end of the movie, Paul, as we know, fills out how many forms to win 68% of the prizes at the end where he pulls up in the RV for the giveaway. No, Laszlo's the name of the genius. Yes, that's true. Ryan Reynolds is Chevy Chase adjacent, but Top Secret's so good. But what, yes, but watch Val Kilmer and you're going to see the smart ass, right? The line that he has in Real Genius where he's like, what can I do to you, for you, or more to the point, to you, to the girl. And she's like, can you nail a 6-inch thing with your penis? That I don't have the exact quote. But that whole scene, the way that he delivers and she gives back and he just looks, he's so good. Val Kilmer is an actor that we don't give enough love to. We don't think enough of. I understand on the set, he can be a real pain in the ass. I heard that from multiple sources, that he is not the nicest guy to work with. But maybe over the years, he just had the documentary. He's softened. Obviously, we know he's dealing with, cancer right now. But he is, I think, an actor that if you were to say, name an actor who doesn't get the credit they deserve, Val Kilmer absolutely is way up on this list. But Laszlo actor also played in Martin. Oh, did he really? Yeah, that guy. He's a character actor. The guy who played. Hollifield lives in the bottom, right? He lives in the basement of the dorm. There are funny movie stage, just people are boring. I guess that's true. Plus, it's the whole, oh God, we're not going to do it because we hit the 1 hour mark, so we got to start to amp down the whole woke thing. I'm not going to get into it. We're not going to do the woke. We're not going to do the woke thing. Not tonight, because, I don't like to use the word, but I'm going to tell you, maybe on Sunday night, we'll talk more about, quote, woke. I have a really good definition for what I think, quote, woke is. A lot of people are saying, well, you can't define it. I think I can define it perfectly. We'll talk about that on Sunday, along with I'm not getting Michael. I know, I could get in trouble for this. We'll do it Sunday. This is not going to be a channel like there's plenty of other YouTube movie guys out there that like to drill down on the woke this and woke that. I don't want to be that guy. But I do want to say that it is a problem in Hollywood. There's not a debate about that. But how we address the issue is how I want to proceed when we talk about things that are, quote, woke. And we'll do it Sunday night. I don't have the energy tonight. I am freaking exhausted. I pulled my back at the gym the other day. I'm doing my legs yesterday. And I reached down and I go, oh, what was that? Like a snap in the lower back. So I've been walking around literally like an octogenarian today. So please send your well wishes my way as my back heals. Hopefully I'm back in the gym tomorrow. The rest of you, thank you for being here. Always a pleasure. And we'll be back on Sunday night. Don't forget your homework. Watch Real Genius. If you missed Glenn Ross, go back and watch that. Every Sunday, your homework assignment, and I'll be open to, if you guys have suggestions, let's do that. Every time we wrap a film that you may have missed, it can't be something obvious. Like, don't come on here and say, you need to watch The Social Network. Like, that's not going to work. We need to have something that is a little more obscure, okay? Not things like that. And we'll do that going forward on MMT. But for now, live from Los Angeles, a very tired Erick Weber says good night. I'll see you Sunday night. Thanks for being here. We'll see you back here Sunday night. Peace out.